If you're going to play Roblox in 2014 and 2015, you probably played at least one game by the Lithuanian Roblox user Loleris. Whether it would be Mad Murderer, Mad Paintball, or Mad Games, it was hard to browse a website without seeing his games. He was even one of the few Roblox users to have multiple popular games. However, things started to change. He went from one of the most popular Roblox YouTubers to completely irrelevant. I remember back in 2014 or 2015, out of boredom, I originally calculated that around 40% of all Roblox players played Mad Murderer. Before we discuss why this Roblox user fell off, let's first dive into his history. Loleris first joined in February 23, 2009. Between 2009 and 2013, Loleris slowly became a self-taught coder. This enabled him to make the games we would then know and love. On June 23, 2013, Loleris released his first game titled Intense Sword Fighting. Similar to the 2009 game Sword Fight Tournament, made by the user The Gamer 101, which was run by two Irish twin brothers. The premise of Intense Sword Fight was pretty much slaughter other users with swords. In hindsight, the game may not sound interesting, but keep in mind that the game was released in 2013, so the expectations were low at that time. The game was quite successful, currently having over 2 million visits and over 32,000 favorites. Later, on October 2nd, 2013, Loleris created another game called Darkness 1, similar to the 2010 game titled The Stalker, made by the user Clone Trooper 1018. This game now currently has over 3 million visits and over 45,000 favorites. The premise of the game was that out of a bunch of players in a server, one was chosen to be a black humanoid monster, and the other players had to defend themselves with guns to prevent being murdered. Over the span of less than 4 months, Loleris went on to release a sequel to the game titled Darkness 2 in January 30th, 2014. The game has over 4 million visits and 63,000 favorites. Even prior to games like Mad Murderer, Loleris' games were still very popular and were being played by the Roblox YouTuber Ghost Games, which was the 2014 equivalent to Dennis Daily. On April 7th, 2014, Loleris released another game titled Mad Murderer, which was similar to Roblox user Nikilis's game Murder Mystery. The game was one of his most popular games and currently reached 68 million visits and 352,000 favorites. The game frequently played by several Roblox YouTubers and was literally on the front page, as tens of thousands of users played the game in a single day. The premise of the game was out of a bunch of people in the server, one of them will be chosen to be the murderer, and one will be chosen to be the sheriff. The murderer would have to kill all the innocents and the sheriff in a limited amount of time. The sheriff would have to shoot the murderer to save the innocents. The game managed to top Murder Mystery in popularity. Loleris would later release a game titled Mad Paintball. The premise of the game was the server was divided into 2 teams, and the teams had to kill each other with paintball guns. The game currently has 38 million visits and 246,000 favorites. Both Mad Murderer and Mad Paintball were very well received and played by almost everyone in the Roblox community. in late 2014 and early 2015. When I first joined in August 22nd, 2014, Mad Murderer was the first Roblox game I played, and pretty much the only game I played, aside from Stop It Slender. It was simply hard to avoid Loleris' games. Even his previous works still managed to stay relevant and were frequently played by Loleris' rising fans. Until things started to change. In late 2015 to early 2016, Loleris' games started to decline in terms of popularity. Mad Murderer and Mad Paintball went from having tens of thousands of players to only a couple hundred. Loleris' other games were almost completely irrelevant, having less than 100 people playing a day. Mad Murderer and Mad Paintball were slowly disappearing from the front page until they were practically gone. However, Loleris had another game to release. In May 1st, Loleris released a game called Mad Games. Despite being released in mid-2015, the game didn't really get relevant until late 2015 to early 2016. The premise of the game was random mini-games get selected and the players have to win the mini-games. The game grew immensely popular, surpassing Mad Murderer in visits. The game has over 79 million visits and 421 favorites. However, the game's popularity didn't last forever. The game began to decline in popularity around mid-2016 to early 2017, before becoming almost completely irrelevant in August of 2017. However, Loleris managed to release sequels of Mad Paintball and Mad Murderer in December 2016 and September 2017, respectively. How successful were these sequels, you may ask? Well, assuming you likely never knew he released sequels. Yeah. These games weren't necessarily flops, but they were significantly less played by their original counterparts. Mad Murderer 2 currently has 16 million visits, and Mad Paintball 2 has 30 million, which is successful in its own right, but nowhere near as successful than most popular Roblox games, which gain hundreds of millions of visits in less than a year. At this point, most of the players of Mad Murderer had already left to play Murder Mystery 2 by Nikilis. As of 2019, Loleris is yet to make a comeback, and none of his games have been on the front page. He also hasn't updated Mad Murderer 2 in over 2 months. So, why did Loleris fall off the map? It's hard to tell, but in my opinion, the answer boils down to updates. The main reason why Mad Murderer beat Murder Mystery was because the game was constantly updated and had more things than Murder Mystery had, like Credit Raid, Murder Madness, and upgrades for knives. However, it appears Loleris had just lost motivation updating and wanted to try new things. This caused Murder Mystery 2 to easily dominate Mad Murderer in visits. Murder Mystery 2 has over 1 billion visits currently. It gets updated frequently, while Mad Murderer 2 hasn't been updated in over 2 months. And Mad Paintball 2 hasn't been updated in 10 months. Most Roblox players, like myself, have a short attention span, so in order to dominate other games, you have to easily grab their attention, which is what Murder Mystery 2 did. Mad Murderer 2 kind of felt like a watered down version of Murder Mystery 2, and arguably the original Mad Murderer. Additionally, there's also another murder-themed game in Roblox called Assassin, where you are assigned to kill a specific player while another player is assigned to kill you, which is a very original concept out of all the murder games in Roblox. I personally don't like Assassin, but I have to admit that it's original. The only reason why I don't like it is because of a personal bias thanks to its difficulty. I just find it really annoying when the person I'm assigned to kill happens to know I'm assigned to kill them. The person who happened to be assigned to kill me spawns next to me. Man, games hardly helped his career because it kind of failed to gather new fans. Most of the people playing were already fans of Loleris' work. The game was more for the fans than anything. Loleris is still active and is currently, quote unquote, constantly working on cool projects and improving our quality. So, will Loleris make a comeback? It depends. Not if he keeps doing what he's doing right now, but if he constantly adds updates, he might. However, I don't think Loleris wants to do that. I think he's just doing what he's enjoying. He's not making his work a chore. According to his bio, he seems more interested in improving quality rather than just cramming a bunch of updates into his games. I don't think he cares if he makes a comeback. I don't think he cares if his games never get to the front page. I don't think he cares if his games don't gain popularity. I don't think he cares if Mad Murder Chew never surpasses Murder Mystery Chew. I don't think he cares if he's unpopular. He's just enjoying Roblox, which is what you're supposed to do with the game. But feel free to comment your opinion down below, and I'll see you guys next time.